incredible relationships throughout this industry, so I know a lot of guys. I was a foreman for, I don't know, 10 years plus maybe.
Kids nowadays, they don't know how to read a tape measure. They don't know math. They don't know that.
Yeah. Like, listen, can you write down your name?
You took a test, you're licensed, but you can't figure out how to install a generator. That's just stupidity.
Do you think that's laziness or just lack of knowledge?
I think it's laziness and just the way some people are groomed.
Being persistent, consistent, and driven, kind of like the key things.
Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of phenomenal people that will definitely outwork me, I guess, but I'm driven. Like I'll go hours on it.
Backtrack. See, like it's like hit or miss sometimes with like the Democrats at like job sites. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you say. Like, you know, I mean, I've done work in houses and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's different.
You know, you're like,
Doug,
be careful what you say in the basement.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful what you say in the basement and stuff. But wicked chill place to work. Though. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot, and it's a great contract for me. So I'm just chilling, living life at the brewery.
Nice. Yeah.
I got 2 guys I subcontract. So so I'm solo. I'm kind of like the Matt boat, right? So I'm solo. He does have an apprentice now, but when I need help, I bring in guys. I built incredible relationships throughout this industry, so I know a lot of guys. I was a foreman for, I don't know, 10 years plus maybe. Can't even remember at this point.
Where were you a foreman at?
So I worked for Glen Electric for 10 years.
Okay.
So I started in this industry when I was 24. Had no experience, green as could be. I was stocking shelves at a grocery store.
Oh, damn.
Stocked soda and water.
That's it, right?
Just chilling at a grocery store. And I found out about this company in Massachusetts, Glen Electric, that they would take in like 40 kids every year through an ELIP program. They called it Electrical Indoctrination Program.
That's a mouthful.
Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, tell me about it. It took me about 6 years to figure out what that was. And, they basically bring you through a class and make sure you're not a complete moron. You know, basically like, hey, can you do a fraction? Like, here's a tape measure. What is that line?
I'm not gonna lie though, you'd be surprised like how many, like at least kids nowadays. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know how to read a tape measure. They don't know like math. They don't know math.
Yeah. Like, can you write down your name?
Yeah. Like, can you do that in cursive?
Yeah.
You're a winner.
Yeah. Asking for a lot right there.
If you can write in cursive, you deserve a raise at that point.
Automatically. I mean, that's why they got numbers on the tape measure. But yeah, so like they put you through this, and then they were like, hey, I think it was 6 weeks maybe or something like that, 2 nights a week, you know, like apprentice class, and then they'd invite like 10 of you back, and then like every year they did this, and they'd hire 10 green people. Grassroots program, right? They trained you the way they wanted you. They're a phenomenal company. Like the guy ran it for like 30 years before he sold it recently to Interstate.
Oh, shit.
And so I was with them 10 years.
Where were they based out of?
So they were based out of Plymouth, Mass.
Okay. So
I'm out of Rainham.
Rainham, okay.
Rainham. I'm from Massachusetts originally, but I'm an Army brat. I've lived all over the United States.
Oh, no shit.
So, yeah, I've lived in Kentucky for a couple of years. I came back here with that sweet Southern accent.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
I broke that years ago. It's been a long time, but, yeah, that was tough to get rid of. The kids in Taunton really liked that one. I lived in Washington State, so I've been around.
Oh, you've been out west. West.
Yeah, dude,
Jesus.
I've been around.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
We finally got a sponsorship, and it's our boys over at Furty Construction. These guys are hands down the best in the business when it comes to creating something amazing and beautiful. They actually did my house, and it went from being a piece of to a gorgeous thing on the block. You know what I mean? They do it all. Roofing, siding, doors, windows, bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels. Hey, if your wife wants a she shed, guess what? You call these guys, okay? So call them right now. We're going to put their link on here, and we're going to put the link in the description below. But listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if it ain't Furty, it ain't Surty. Now, enjoy the episode, guys.
Were you in the military, or was
my father?
Your father was
in
the military?
Yeah. So,
by the way, guys, we're back.
We're back?
Yeah.
I know, we kind of dove into this pretty quick. But,
first episode of the year?
Yeah, bro, and we're hitting off with a fucking banger, too. You know, we got Mr. DMC, Doug Connolly himself.
Baby. Let's go.
You know, this is huge because, you know, we wanted... Also, big shout out to our boy, Matt Benavides.
Yeah.
He's
Boston Plumbing Monster.
Yeah. he's sick. He couldn't make it. I really wanted to do that collab, but I think that's going to be in a few weeks. Who knows? Maybe.
It's got the plumber's flu.
Yeah.
They're always touching all types of nasty stuff.
Oh God, it's the worst sometimes. Really, it's really bad. You electricians don't really have to deal with that shit.
You guys got to carry 2 sets of tools. You know what I mean? Like poop tools and clean tools.
Yeah, well, I think that's the difference though, because like there's drain cleaning guys and then there's plumbers.
Yeah.
Matt's super like religious about that shit.
He's a big drain cleaner.
Big drain guy?
Yeah, big drain guy.
His ears are ringing right now.
Yeah. He's puking and pissed right now.
Nah, we love you, Matt. We hope you feel better.
Yeah.
So Doug is an electrician. Our first electrician, actually, that we have on. And I talk mad shit about electricians all the time. So
it goes hand in hand.
So
like the biggest enemies, but our best friends.
100%. I love electricians, but at the same time, you gotta like bust their balls all the time at the job site. And also, we're actually recording this in Alex's beautiful home. This Portuguese aesthetic that we got going on.
Very, very low ceilings. If you guys couldn't tell, like literally just.
Listen, the ceilings make me feel good. I mean, like,
it doesn't make me feel good. I'm fucking hitting them.
I can pop a ceiling tile, run wires with no ladder.
This is fucking beautiful.
This is great. Every ceiling should be like this.
So let's dive in. Let's dive into your electrical story a little bit. So you started at 24, right? So
24, yeah.
So, backtracking to that program that you went to and the first company that you went to. So how long were you with that company for?
So I did 10 years with them, basically. Pretty much on the dot, 10 years. Did my whole apprenticeship there. They had their own state-approved apprenticeship program, which was awesome. And I'd say after my 3rd year, I got invited to help teach that ELA program that I was talking about.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was a 3rd-year apprentice, still learning everything myself.
Right.
And, just like every one of us in the industry, you want to make more money, right? Mm-hmm. So when I got my electrical license right away, I was like, hey, you guys need a teacher. I'm interested in teaching. So that started my teaching career. So I've been an electrical educator since for 2011, 12. So I've been teaching for 13, 14 years as well. So I do code class at nighttime. I currently am not teaching this semester, but I've been doing it for a long time. So that's why, I'm very big on code in the videos and stuff. Like I try to touch on them. The videos are tough. People beat the crap out of you. I try to.
Yeah, that's how it is on social media nowadays.
That's what it's all about. They're challenging each other. But I do like a good debatable conversation with code, because same as the plumbing code, it's interpreted differently.
Yeah,
but 10 years with that company, and they're kind of like, you guys you're in commercial.
I am.
So we did a lot of hospitals, medical work. I spent a lot of time at Cape Cod Hospital. Hospital.
Those hospitals are fun. It's a lot of
fun. They're a blast to work. I learned a lot. That's why I'll jump into anything wiring. I got an unbelievable, well-rounded experience. I worked with 2 old school. I learned everything from 2 old school Portuguese.
That's the best way to learn, dude.
Yeah. One guy, Louis Cadai. Louis Cadai. Anybody that's from Glen knows him, dude. The guy's an animal, old school. You know what I mean? Like Portuguese. Like when I was a kid, we used to take the bladder from the pig and blow it up, and that was our soccer ball.
Oh, yeah.
School, dude.
My dad would tell me the same story.
Yeah. I think it's just a Portuguese. It's like walking in the snow barefoot, right?
Yeah.
And then a guy, Joe, that like they trained me everything, and like you're just hard workers. So like I sucked in as much knowledge, and back then it was like just be better and faster than the guy behind you, and you golden. So I just picked up everything I possibly could. It was awesome.
Nice, man.
But it's been a great, rewarding career so far.
So what was like? I guess what was the I guess the why am I brain farting right now?
Like what got him into it?
Yeah, I guess what got why did so like
a
why
little bit of your earlier story, I guess.
Yeah, so like 18, right? Graduate high school like everybody else. I was on the college path of life, and that didn't last very long. It wasn't for me. You know what I mean? I went to BCC. Okay. I was like into like chemistry and science and stuff.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I like medical lab science type stuff. That was like, I guess maybe my dream at the time. And just didn't work out. So I moved on. I just ended up working at Market Basket. I worked at Groceries.
Shout out to Market Basket.
Yeah, Market, absolutely.
Were you just not? You were just weren't into school, that sort of thing?
No, I skimmed through high school. You know, I didn't
Yeah.
go to a trade school.
Mm-hmm.
They actually didn't let me in the trade school. I didn't have good enough grades. I was going to go
Oh,
to BP,
okay.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
at the time, I was into mechanics. So I would have went to BP and been a grease monkey fixing cars.
Yeah.
Because I have like an uncle that's a mechanic and stuff. And I probably would be hating my life right now. You know, great career. Nothing wrong with mechanics and stuff. They're just, I don't see like, it's a very niche and not a long-term thing in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, you can start your own company and blow up probably, I'm sure, like anything else. But so I did that. And then like somebody just told me about Glen Electric. I always like tinkering and working on stuff. Like I was that kid that like would take a ride in a lawnmower and turn it into a go-kart. You know,
Oh, yeah.
always screwing with shit. People, I used to fix people's bikes and just I like, you know, I had some scrap tools like.
So you like working with your hands, pretty
Yeah, I
much.
loved it. I enjoyed it. Just fucking with stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like so it was cool. Yeah, it was. And then we just moved on
And
to
then
electrical.
just moved on. So when did you know, like, okay, hey, I'm gonna go out and do my own thing? Was that like kind of like a tough transition, or not really?
Yeah, you know, it just kind of happened. Like,
Okay.
so after Glenn, I went into the electrical union of Boston. And you know,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and so I've been on both sides. I personally have seen both sides of the industry, and I see a lot of people that bag on both sides that have been on one side. And I personally don't think you can't have an opinion, right? If you've never been over there, how can you have a true opinion about that? Like
Right.
you see the fights all the time on social media.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I do.
non-union job, union job. And I'm like, this guy's been 30 years in the union and you're bagging on a non-union guy off of what you've been told?
Yeah.
Because I've been on both sides. Every side has shitty employees. Every side has aces. And they're not like, and you know, I've seen more shitty guys in the union, and I honestly don't care if that gets out there because, like, I've been
Talk
on
your shit,
both
Doug.
sides.
Talk your shit, Doug.
Talk your shit.
That's what we're here for. Let's go.
I personally have, you know, in some of the best guys that I've seen in the union were organized in from non-union companies.
So So what you're trying to say is
Break it down. Break it down.
Are you team union or team non-union?
Yeah, you know, I'm team whatever makes you happy and gets you a paycheck.
Straight side the question.
Yeah, because like, you know, I hate the battle back and forth because like at the end of the day, right, we're all just trying to make a living.
That's it.
So I did that for 5 years, right? And you know, a big step in my life too is back in 2017, I guess it would be at this point. Oh, what are we in? 2025?
2025.
December 2019, I quit drinking, right? So, you know, I had a lot of fun in my life. I was a big beer drinker, partier, chasing breweries. 2019, I stopped, right? That kind of like 6 months of that kind of like really cleared my head, right? And I quit for like health purposes, and I just, you know, I had a lot of fun with alcohol, and we just didn't need a relationship anymore. So it was time to move
like,
on.
all right,
Yeah,
just move on.
We need a little bit of a break. And,
Mature.
lost 80 pounds, went on a crazy fitness goal. You know, I put about 30 back on since the business, so, you know, not where I was then, but you know, just got super healthy. And then I realized I was in a position that I just didn't like. You know, I was running projects. I've always been a foreman. I enjoy the aspect of the job. Like, I love working with the tools, but I like planning, and I like diving into all different. I'd get bored doing just houses or just like commercial work. Like, I need different systems.
You need that variety.
Yeah, like I like wiring, fire alarm, lighting control, med gas systems, like all the intricate little systems, because like I need to use my brain. But I guess like 4.5 years in, you know, and shout out to Mark Mason. I kept chasing Mark on social media, Instagram, like, hey, let me do a house. Like, I wanted to get into side work because I didn't do it a lot. And finally, one time he's like, maybe you just had enough of me. And he's like, all right, you can do it. I'll let you do a job, right? So I did one for him, and I was like, I kind of got a taste of that. Like, man, I need to fucking get out of here, right? And then we did another job in Taunton. He called me on like a Friday night. Was like, hey, can you bang out a job for me? And I was like, yeah, well, I'll be there tomorrow, right? Start tomorrow. And that job on the finish is when I met Matt, right? So I saw Matt. I saw him on Instagram and stuff, and I think we might have crossed paths on some jobs over the year. He worked for Sagamore, Glenn and Sagamore, on every job together. And I saw this kid doing it. I'm like, dude, this dude has 4 kids at home, right? A wife and him, and he's got his own company. And like, so that really got me thinking. And I didn't really have much work lined up And my job at the time, we were building the Moderna building in Boston. And they're like,
Oh, damn.
yeah, huge
a big
building.
project,
I think
yeah.
it was like $1 billion project.
Holy
I don't
shit.
even know. It's like 3 city blocks or something. They bought the old Portland.
Oh, yeah,
pipe
that's
through.
right,
Huge.
that's right. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful building, you know. And I was doing the parking garage, and they wanted me to move up to like some tenant floors, and they were going to start working some crazy overtime. So I went on vacation, and I was thinking about it. I'm kicking back and forth, like, you know, like, oh man, maybe I'll go out on my own, maybe I won't. And then RCL called me, right? RCL did a system. This is how I got a relationship with RCL too, right? It's crazy how the world works, right? It's just like these little things. RCL did a HVAC system in my house. So when they did that, I wired the system. Matt Robinson back in the day, and Sam, he's in construction now. I can't think of his name. Actually, I think he might have left that. Elliot.
Sam
he
Elliott,
moved
right?
on. So Sam and Matt Robinson, who are two awesome people, they did my system.
guys.
It's a beautiful system, immaculate, like craftsmanship, you know? And they were like to the point where it was like COVID. So like, you know, we didn't want people upstairs. So I'm like, hey, listen, we replaced all the ductwork. And I'm like, hey, leave the boots. I'll cut the floor and I'll put the boots in, dude. You know, so we worked hand in hand. I didn't even know them yet, you know, but they're like, this kid's going to put the boots in? Fucking absolutely. You know? And then they're like, I'm like, what are you guys putting the condenser on? They're like, oh, I just want the no, I'll pour a pad tonight. It'll be ready tomorrow morning. They're like, they're like, they get there in the morning. They're like, we left yesterday. Like, there's no fucking way he's pouring a pad tonight. I poured a pad, you know? So, but I did the electrical. So a couple of, weeks passed, and they call me like, hey, can you wire a boiler? Do you do side work? Because they like the way I did my own system.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. So, you know, that worked into like, all right, so if I come, like my day one, I sat down with RCL and was like, hey, we're going to basically let you start wiring all our systems, you know, which was phenomenal. Like, I appreciate everything they did with that. It's awesome. It was a hand-in-hand relationship, though. Like, they needed me, I needed them, you know, it helped them get customers as well. So we did that, and it just, I went home and was like, I went to work one day, and the boss was like, we're going to start working crazy overtime. And I was like, all right, cool. Let me think about it. And then I went back in like, I don't know, 2 hours later, I was like, I'm leaving in 3 weeks. And he's like, people like, when you're like in the union and they're like, you're like, I'm leaving. They're like, you're leaving the benefits and the money.
Yeah, they always have to throw like that.
Yeah. And I'm like, listen,
you know?
like life's only once, right?
Yeah.
So I just left. I went home, told my wife, I was like, hey, I'm leaving in 3 weeks. Where you going? I'm not there. I can tell you that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's been nothing but great since. Like, you know, like I always preach to everybody.
How was your wife when you said that to her? Like,
you know, we don't have kids, so it's like a little easier, I would say. You know, we've put ourselves in a position in life. You know, shout out to my wife first.
Big shout out to the wives.
Been with her since I was 14 years old.
Wow, God bless.
Of that, yeah,
God
26 years. If I mess that up, I'm dead.
Wait, what?
But yeah,
Oh,
it's been a long time, since 98, right? So we've put ourselves in a position in life where, you know, we could take a beating for a while if we needed to. So we basically I went out at it, and I went around to every business in the area, business cards, and then Maddie was like, start social media. And it's been like it's an incredible journey too. It's a lot of work. Like, I mean, you guys do some on there, so you know. Matt obviously knows, and everybody else that does it. It's not easy. You got to be consistent, and you got to take abuse. But I'm already used to that from job sites. So
I'm okay with the mental abuse.
Yeah. You can pretty much say anything to me, and it doesn't hurt my feelings. The feelings got lost like 20-something years ago.
The feelings got lost when you would work.
Yeah. When I worked with those two Portuguese, the feelings died.
That's exactly how it goes.
Yeah, you want to get tough work with those guys. But yeah, no. So it's you know, it just. She was a little like, wow, at first, and because we knew nothing about having a business, right? Nobody does.
Nobody does.
What do they say, right? Don't wait for the perfect time. Jump into it. And if you're not in a position in life that you're happy with, the only person staring back at you is you in that mirror. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, look at it. Nobody else. Nobody behind you. You can't blame your mom, your dad, the way you grew up. Nothing. Like, I grew up military poor, dude. Like, I had 3 siblings, and, you know, like, I'd say two out of the other 3 are doing very well in life. One of my brothers, I don't really talk to very much, but I think he's doing all right, you know, and it's like only you to blame, right? So, I mean, look at all the people that we're surrounded by, like, that you guys know and everything, and it's just excel. That's all. So since I quit drinking, I haven't let off that gas pedal. It's been full fucking throttle.
Full throttle?
Baby. Full throttle.
So how long have you owned DMC Electric?
So we just hit, I didn't really do a lot of side work, so like, you know, but DMC started out in, I would say 2022. So we just, August, was it August? Yeah, August 1st this year, or 2024. So we're going on like 2.5 years, I guess.
Nice.
2.5 years.
Shit. August 1st is my wife's birthday.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I left on
quick little
August
side
1st.
note.
31st is my last day. So 2.5 years. Started out in like residential, basically, wherever I could get work, and trying to gear more towards commercial now.
Yeah.
It's like my bread and butter. It's like, you know, kind of what I like. But I'll still go do residential.
Yeah,
you know?
like once in a while.
Yeah, so my brother's a licensed electrician too, Sean. So whatever I usually just throw him. He calls it, he'll actually call me and be like, hey, it's just a little fucking beagle caller. You got any scraps you want to throw on the table, dude? I'm hungry, dude, you know? So I usually call him like, hey, you want to go to fucking East Providence? Hey, you want to drop in Canton? You know, like if I can't get to something, because you want to try to help the customer out. Like,
of course.
I got some customers that are like regulars. They use me when they need an electrician, not that they need you all the time. But like, you know, some of the bigger accounts I want to favor to, like, you know, like I said, I work at Trillium Brewery. The owners of the company, phenomenal. All the people there, phenomenal. Great place to work. Even the electrical inspector in that town, I know he watches the videos. He's a great guy too. You know, that's the other thing, right? So one thing that you don't realize when you're doing all this social media is all the local inspectors watch your videos. Not all of them, not everyone's there, but like I went to a MECA, Massachusetts Electrical Contractors event, and I sat down in an awesome presentation for like an hour and a half with 2 board members on the examining board. And afterwards, they came up to me like, hey, we love your videos. And I was like, oh, shit, you guys are watching. But they were like, actually, like, dude, we like what you're doing to the next generation. You're teaching people. And you're like, you know, we're same with you guys. There's different standards around the country. So, like, you know, some people will tell you you're a complete hack, but they live in, like, you know, California where it's like a whole new world. And we just do things differently. So what's hack to you is actually very regularly like what we do out here, you know? So, you know, you see it all the time. You scroll and you're like, what the fuck? You know,
I met a guy that was out of Oklahoma, and I was doing like some plumber work, and he was like, why are you doing it like this? I'm like, this is how we do it in Massachusetts. He's like, I've never seen this done before like this. And he tried to tell me something that was like complete hack, not even in code. I'm like, who's the plumber? It's me.
Oklahoma, we use bubble gum and duct tape.
Yeah. But he's a good guy. I like that guy. So, but so 3 years, 2-3 years. Running your own business. So would you say like, you know, being persistent, consistent, and you know, driven really like is like kind of like the key things into like owning your own business? I
would say so. You need to like, you really got to be focused, I think. I mean, you can do it not. You can really take that back seat. You know, it depends on what you're looking for, right? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to do this as a long-term goal? Are you trying to go to like 50 or 60? Are you trying to get it done sooner? Like, you just trying to make like, you know, 50 to 100 grand a year because that's all you need and you're happy with that? Are you trying to just take it over? But definitely driven, like, you know, I can't be outworked. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of phenomenal people that will definitely outwork me, I guess. But I'm driven. Like, I'll go hours on end, you know. Like, I was prefabbing a panel last night till 7, 8 o'clock at night. You know, I start at 6 a.m., but I usually get up every single day around 3:30. It's my regular wake up.
So
time.
what's your do you like work out in the morning? What's your routine?
No, 3:30 a.m. is like, you know, get up, shower, coffee, and that's when I'm doing like, I'll do emails, I'll bid jobs, I'll look at prints, social media. That's like, you know, 3:30 to 5 a.m. basically, 3:45 to 5. Then I'm on the road, I'm out. Because if I could start at 6, I'll start at 6, you know what I mean? Which a lot of these commercial jobs you can. And then, you know, run to like a 6 to 2. I try to keep like an 8-hour day, you know, or less or whatever I have to maintain the schedule. And then like I'll do stuff at night. After that, it's like, you know, most of my material gets delivered. I try not to go to supply houses. Like,
you get it delivered?
Yeah, everything, you know, Granite City, I go through a lot. Phenomenal. Like, they have a night train they run. They have like, they'll get it to the job and stuff because as a solo guy, that's a huge waste of time. Dude. I don't have time to go to
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anytime you're traveling to a supply house, you know, and it happens once in a while. I try not to. And basically, I don't know, I probably go to like 9, 10 at night. I don't sleep very much at nighttime, but I probably should sleep more. I run myself dry sometimes, and but like you got to do what you got to do to make it work. I'm driven in the fact that Doug, I'm 41.
Hey, you look great for 41.
Yeah,
By the way. No,
appreciate that. Yeah,
no, like not to be
it's
weird or
probably
anything.
because I don't have kids. But so our goal basically in life is like early retirement, FIRE, right? Financial independence, retire early. You've probably heard that term. If not, you just did.
That's a good acronym. I like that. FIRE.
Yeah, FIRE. So
Fire.
me and my wife are dinks too, right? You heard that one? Double income, no kids.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm learning all that.
You guys are learning everything. So the goal for us is to basically financially free early in life and free that up. Me in an RV travel around the country, like for months on end, come back, do some whatever I want. There's always going to be. I feel like. She still has her 9 to 5. She still works, let's call it, or whatever she does, 7 to 5. I don't know. She still works for a company. And I feel like when that kind of ends, both of us kind of have this feeling that we're probably going to do even better. You know what I mean? Like we'll be more focused and more time to plan what we want. Like, so I'd like to get into more like real estate stuff. And I've been talking about it for like 2 years. I just been so busy with the company that, I did phenomenal last year it was a great year. I doubled what I did the year before. So
hell dude. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Which is great.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, phenomenal. And, I did use some subcontractor help and stuff like that for guys and stuff. But I also keep, I help my buddies, dude. Like, they'll get laid off. They come help me.
Yeah.
Oh, no
one
shit.
hand washes the other.
What a good guy. Good
I'm
guy,
one
local
of the first
guy.
phone calls they make. You know what I mean? And that kind of tells me what I can and can't take on. Matt does the same thing. He's like gets the weekend warriors where I'll get the guys during the week usually. I try not to work the weekends because my wife has the weekends off.
So you
she
just
still
want
have
to
that job. So my other big thing is I'm a big mountain hiker. So So if I'm not working, you can usually catch me in the woods somewhere. I'm up on top of a 4,000 footer in New Hampshire. I think this weekend we're going snowshoeing through the mountains. So I year round, snow, wind, winter, ice, cold, hot, we're in the mountains.
Are you a winter guy or a summer guy?
I would say more of a winter probably.
Okay.
Yeah, the summer's a little too much for me. I'd rather it cold, not as cold as today. Like tomorrow, I got a 200 amp upgrade tomorrow. It's I think we're starting out at 19 degrees. We don't need that shit.
No.
So I do have the Milwaukee propane heater. We'll be rocking that. I just blow it right at me. So as long as the green energy police don't come by, we're gonna be good.
Good to go.
Start complaining.
Share the heat. Share the heat. Yeah.
I would love to get one of those Milwaukee vests, the heated vests.
Yeah, I got the sweatshirt.
Those are nice
which
too.
is nice, but I'll be honest, I've had it for 8 years. I think I've used it 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just run hot.
Oh, well, I feel like you don't really do a lot of do you do a lot of underground work or no?
I've done a lot in the past. For Glen Electric, I've done a lot of infrastructure work.
Gotcha.
So we did with Sagamore actually years ago. We did a big job Rosebrook. Miles and miles of duck banks and stuff like that. But it's it's definitely interesting though, depending on where you go and what you do. Even you guys, there's so many different aspects of your trade as well. But it's the vest is nice. Didn't they get you guys all one a couple years ago?
I wasn't part of that. But however, it was true.
Yeah,
they definitely did.
I was gonna say,
that was I think that was their Christmas party. The December before I started. I started in March of 2023.
Okay, so you journeyman?
I'm an apprentice at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome, dude. Yeah.
But people want to know that because I'm pushing 30.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
and they just
a little later.
I started in plumbing when I was 25 or 26.
Okay, nice. So you're me
so I'm half in the game, half not, because my first year was a complete wash because the first company I ever worked for, they didn't count my hours.
That sucks.
So I tried.
Seems illegal.
It was just way too much paperwork. I'm like, all right, screw this, man.
Pain in the ass
And then
they fucked that up.
yeah, it is what it is.
We're not going to name drop them.
No,
but you know who you are.
Yeah.
And then they laid me off. It was the year of my wedding too. My wedding was in 6
Beautiful.
months.
Yeah.
So they were like,
"Oh, winner."
Yeah, oh yeah. So they laid me off, and
Good benefits.
They laid me off, and I'm like, "Fuck, dude." And my wife was like, kind of a little bit stressed because obviously the wedding,
Obviously,
and everything.
yeah.
And I'm like, I need to find a job. And then like I was just like, Indeed, everything. All of a sudden, I see RCM Mechanical. I'm like, I never heard these guys before. Let's give them a shot.
Yeah.
So I put an application in, and then the next day, Mark Mason called me. Mark Mason is hands down the most nicest guy I've ever met in my whole entire life.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah.
And he gave me opportunity, and now 2 years later, I'm like, they call me Unk on the job site because like we're a young company.
Tiago, dude.
Like we're a young company too. So like I remember I was on a job site. I was the oldest guy there.
Yeah. You guys they are a young company.
They are definitely a young company. Great guys, though. Great guys all around. But yeah,
all those guys are young, huh? Mike White.
Mike White.
There's a lot of young. I mean,
Mike
I think
White.
like Matt Ryan's like the oldest guy.
No. I mean,
you got a couple old guys in the field. Yeah, you get a few old guys.
we got some old heads like my brother who's in the field.
My brother.
he's pushing 41 right now. So and then there's a couple guys that are in their 40s.
I know that being at the desk a lot's really showing on Matt Ryan. If you know what I mean.
Hey, so here's the thing about Matt Ryan. That's the thing, right? So Matt Ryan was actually on my job site today. He lost 80 pounds.
Did he recently?
Yeah, recently.
No
He's been doing the carnivore diet. Dude, he looks phenomenal. He looks great, dude.
He's a big dude.
He's huge.
Yeah,
he's a big dude. I was like, he was like right behind me, and I was like scared. He like caught me off guard. I'm like just standing there in my pockets, and then fucking all of a sudden I turned around.
Get off your phone.
No, I wasn't even on my phone. I was just like staring into space. Looking at this 200-gallon water heater.
This is a nice water heater.
Yeah. It really is nice. Just, not for the space. But all of a sudden I turned around, Matt Ryan's there. I'm like, holy shit. It fucking scared me. I'm like, you make a better door than a window guy. Get the fuck out of here. But no, RCL's been great.
That's good.
I know that you've worked with RCL a few times, You've done
quite a few times, yeah. I'd say
you've done
2 years solid, probably, yeah.
Mostly residential. You've been on most of the residential.
Yeah,
right?
we did a couple commercial like change outs and stuff. Nothing big. We're looking at a big job down the street. I don't know where it's going enough for
down the street, huh?
Yeah, at a church. I'm not sure the name of it even.
That church right over here?
Nah, it's over on dude, I don't know Fall River at all. It's over near County Street, I think. But yeah, like 28 units inside, a bunch of ton of units and heat pumps and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Should be like, I think the commercial guys will probably do an install on that.
Maybe I'll be there because it'll be close to home. So
Mark, if you're listening.
So I guess before you jumped to do your own thing, what was actually the best job that you were on? The one that you felt kind of proud about?
Ooh, I would probably say my first job as a foreman. I don't know. There's a couple cool jobs, right? So like I did in the union, I did the Facebook kitchen, right? That was kind of cool.
Oh, that's sick.
So on Binney Street in Boston, I kind of I went over there. They were already kind of doing it, but the foreman at the time, so when I joined, I wasn't, a foreman right away because, you got to get in there, learn yourself and stuff. And when I went over there, they were like, "Oh, have you done a couple kitchens before? Here, take over the kitchen. We need somebody to do this because kitchens have a lot electrically involved to them, like shunt trip breaker, all types of stuff, like shut-offs and emergencies." So that was pretty cool, seeing what people actually get at some of these tech companies. Oyster bars and smokers and pizza ovens, the biggest kitchen I've ever seen, bigger than a restaurant, and they serve 3 meals a day.
Wow.
So that was kind of a cool job to be at. One of I did a barbecue joint once. That was one of my first jobs as a foreman that I really run from ground up. I'd say it was a retrofit, but I'd say the coolest job. Let me think about it for a second. Those were kind of fun jobs. Probably one of the funnest jobs I remember in my career was an underground job for 6 months during the summer. We had the same 6 guys on it, just having a blast.
Yeah.
Dude. We're in sand pits all summer. It was hot as miserable though. The weather sucked. It was 100 degrees out. You'd go through water. The guy, they're a real reason we'd work our asses off all day though. When you get that good crew. Or you can find that crew you can be competitive, you know what I mean? Competition. We used to, you try to set that up, right? I remember one of the guys in the union when I was a foreman, we'd work Saturdays, and like on Saturday you make the overtime list, so like you can come in, you're not the foreman, you're like just a guy. So like he'd set up some of the guys to like rough an apartment, but like put me with the slower guy to rough an apartment and be like, oh, you guys are against the foreman for the day, you know.
Yeah.
So but like, you know, I got some speed behind me in my days. I'm a very competitive person.
Yeah, I feel like you have to be in the trades. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you do. Like if you want to make it like a career, like you're here, so just make it the best. Otherwise, move on and find something else.
Right.
Like, because you guys come across those people that are like, oh, it's just a job, kid, or another day. You know what I mean? Like
the old heads. Yeah, it's old heads.
Old miserable. Like we worked with a guy once, a plumber. Every day he'd come in smoking a cigar. He'd be like, "How you doing today, fucking Joe?" He'd be like, "It's another day closer to putting my boat in the water." You know, like dude, every day, all winter long, and you're like, you just knew what he was gonna say. You know?
Like a broken record.
We were in a wood frame building, and this guy would take a cigar and put it on like a 2x4 and let it burn while he's plumbing and soldering. I'm like, this guy's gonna burn the fucking place down. You know, this is the same guy that'd be in like his van at lunchtime with brown paper bag, fucking drink. And I'm like, yeah,
because it was legal back in the day to drink on the job.
Yeah, when he grew up,
He's probably like, yeah, old habits never break, you know.
But yeah, those are some of the funner jobs. Like I did some operating rooms at Cape Cod Hospital. Those were cool, like just cool.
There's a lot going on in there too.
Dude, incredible. Like, you know, I worked with you didn't come from Sagamore, so you don't know him, but there was this guy at Sagamore, like Mark Tatlow, and a lot of people know him. They called him the Topper. Great guy, one of the like most experienced, knowledgeable plumbers you ever met in your life. But when you do an operating room, it's in a clean environment, right?
Yeah.
So you're in a 40x40 room with every other trade. And to get into there through the operating room suite, you have to gown up, right? Then you have to go through with all your tools. Then you went through like 3 containment sections to get into the operating room because you can't let dust. So like the first would be a zipper with a HEPA filter. Then the next one would be like a clean room where you take your suit off. Then the next one would be like a foot dip to dip your boots in to clean them. And you do that reverse on the way out, you know? And like, so you get all the way in there and you're like, fuck, we forgot 3/8 nuts. You know, shit,
that's
dude.
the worst.
So we like learned really quick, like, cause we worked like, I don't know, 10 at night to 6 in the morning, but like you couldn't really work that shift because like they'd have surgeries or they'd shut the whole place down if somebody like got shot or had to come in.
Yeah, like lockdown,
surgery. And but you'd all be in that room building. So that was like kind of cool too, cause like I remember those nights where something would happen, right? They'd like saw cut the floor. They'd rip through a bunch of electrical lines. You're like, oh shit, we got to get up and running by the morning. They got surgeries like next door. Like you'd have plumbers and HVAC guys pulling wires to temporarily get the running, like up and running. So like the camaraderie, right, of a job site. I feel like they've changed over the years, you know, a lot. You know, everybody, you go to break, like when I started in the industry, right, we'd all be in the job trailer, break, like talking, shooting.
Yep.
Now you go on a job trailer and everybody's like, you know, that's
or like not even the job trail. Like there'll be some guys like inside the trucks.
Yeah,
like,
they're scattered over there. You know, they're like, "Hey, baby, I miss you. How you doing?" You know,
it's always the young kids too. That's like, got to check my Snapchat. You know.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, you know, I mean, I'm on the social media a lot during the day too, because like you're just checking, keeping updated. But like I try to tell like some type of time schedule with it. And like it's funny, some people are like, man, I'd fire you if you recorded that much. I'm like, I own the fucking company, dude. Like, you know, and you know how little it takes for me to be like, boom, play, put the camera up and like watch me, and then I can look at it after. Like, you know how much film I record that I don't use? It's like, people are crazy.
It's always the old heads too that always has to say that. I was at a job and I was trying to record some content, and this old head was like, why are you recording? Like nobody wants to watch that. I'm like, maybe you don't want to watch it, but I know a few people that would want to watch it. You know what I mean? Miserable fuck. He hated his wife. Hates his wife. Like the saying is, if you hate your wife, you hate your life, and if you hate your life, you hate your wife.
Dude,
so
it's right
there's a lot of those guys on the commercial side, at least.
Yeah, I've definitely met a lot of those guys that just are miserable old guys.
And then they put that energy inside of you, and you're like,
it's cancerous to a job site. I call those the cancer guys. Like, I'm the most happiest go lucky guy you'll meet on a job site. Like, you can't really get me down every once in a while. But like, my wife works for a lady that, like, you know, listen, you get a fucking 5-minute pity party. Get it out and get over it and move on. And it's like the best statement ever. Like, you know what? Something pisses you off, just get it behind you, move on. You can't look behind you. You're moving forward. Let's go, you know?
Yeah.
You see that all the time. Like,
fuck yeah, dude.
because otherwise it just drains you if you're just like dwelling in
yeah,
that
it
shit
does.
all day, every
It
day,
does,
dude.
dude. I'm telling you,
it's
like,
not just you too. It's like if you're working with other people, you
Oh,
bring their mood
miserable,
down, dude. It's just like
you're like, I gotta go deal with that guy again today. It's like, so I do a lot of boilers, right? So there's on Facebook, there's an oil burner tech group, right? And I found out through the grapevine that there's this dude on there like hating on me. Like, oh, fucking DMC. Somebody tell DMC Electric to stop drilling out the back of a Takeo box. He's blah, 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 right? And I'm like, this fucking guy, dude. So, like, I made a video. I joined the group, right? They let me join the group, which I was like, idiot. Yeah, dumb. Great group. But I'm like, so I joined the group, and then the next Takeo, I was like, hey, look at me. I'm drawing out the back of a box, dude. Probably some guy's crying right now. Yeah. And then I couldn't believe they actually posted the video when I uploaded it, right? So that was like kind of just back and forth, joking around. And you know, like the funniest part is the guy has like, he's from Massachusetts. He's in the North Shore area, like where I was doing a boiler. And he didn't like something I did about it, whatever. He's like, I've been wiring boilers since you were 9 years old, kid, or something, you know. So he's probably an old head, right?
Yeah,
maybe he's young. But I do know he has no balls because he posts everything anonymous, right? No balls. Like on a job site, right? I've been on a job site for almost 18 years. Like I'll tell you to your face, I hate you. Like I don't give a shit. Like I'll tell you suck. You're lower than whale shit. You're like, go home, kid. You know what I mean? You suck. And I feel like that's a camaraderie in our industry. We can literally look at each other and be like, dude, you're a terrible plumber. You're a terrible electrician. And you move on with your life. But so, like, we did that like a week or two ago. And then my buddy sends me a screenshot from the group last night. Like, what I think is awesome is I'm living inside this guy's headspace.
Rent free, right?
Right?
I
This
love
guy,
that feeling.
Yeah, I love it because he's like, he posted the other day, like, or last night, I guess, like, this is probably what DMC Electric from TikTok that drills out the back of a Takeo probably drove an IROC Z in high school, right? And I'm like, my buddy sends it to me, like, because my buddy commented. So I work with another kid that does awesome boilers, Mike Ciardi, phenomenal. He's on Instagram, Ciardi. You'll see me tag him. He does his work's just true craftsmanship. You know, he wants nothing but the best. But so he commented like, really, buddy? You still going over this? And I'm like, I woke up this morning to that and I was cracking up. I'm like, man, I'm still living in this guy's head. And I'm like, fucking love it. I really made an impression on him.
Yeah,
dude, you know?
He must really like you.
Dude, fucking loving it. Maybe someday I'll realize, when he grows up and gets a set of balls. Probably not, though.
Circling back to what you said something interesting about like the banter and the camaraderie and everything like that. Like, you could say to your face, like to people's faces, like, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
I feel like, this is me personally.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. Like, I feel like the generation now that's in the trades, very soft.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that anymore.
You can't, because then HR. Well, you don't have HR because you're HR, right?
Yeah. I do that. You suck. Thank you. Yeah, I do.
But yeah, I feel like that's a huge thing nowadays. Like you gotta tend to these like different personalities, I guess.
Yeah, it's not the same. Like, I mean, and it's only changed in like 10 years, maybe.
Yeah,
like,
maybe less, a little bit less, maybe.
Even less, yeah. It might be 5 years. I mean, let's call it since the 2020, right? The Great Experiment, right? Or COVID, whatever you want to call it. I call it the Great Experiment. I think like the whole, wokeism, right? And now it's, you say the wrong thing and you're either blackballed and your job's gone or that, but it's definitely a softer generation. I don't know if it's social media or if it's just.
I think it's a mix of like bad parenting and social media, but mainly because of social media, because everybody has it now.
Everybody knows what's going on. And
exactly.
There's just so much, there's nothing like, I don't want to say hidden, but right, like when we got picked on in school, it was a different style. Like you do one thing now, it's going throughout the Snapchat and like the 17 other
like
things.
Everybody knows now.
But yeah, no, it's definitely different. Like so, like going back to like unions, a way different ball game with that too. You got to be real careful what you say and stuff like because there's a lot of old heads, dude. Those guys that like they're still like deep rooted in their southern vibes and all different shit that you got. I'm like, you can't say that. Even I know you can't say that. Like,
we have priorities. Yeah. We have some lines that we don't cross.
But no, you definitely like the guys I used to work for. Like one of them's retired. He hurt his back. I think he retired like the shit they used to say to people, they'd probably be like fired now, you know, like
Thrown in jail.
And like I get it, you know, you got to play. Your company has to play the HR game and like make sure nothing. You know, you got to make everybody safe, I guess, right, and not hurt their feelings.
Yeah,
like,
that's the big thing now. Is like you can't hurt people's feelings anymore. You know.
Yeah, like so you got to keep that shitty employee. Like it's hard to get rid of employees. I feel like you know, unless you're a smaller company, like a bigger company, I think has more, you know, feet in the game with like lawyers and dealing with stuff like that where somebody could actually sue them because of the diversity and stuff where you know somebody a little bit smaller not so much you know it's but yeah I mean we used to it was a whole
my brother told me a
ballgame.
story one time. He would work like this was like when he first started plumbing. This was like early 2004. And he would work fast. My brother was a fast worker, but it wasn't fast enough for the people, for the foremans or anything like that. So they would chuck these like gas fittings, the threaded ones too. So like no mega press shit, just chuck it right at his head. He would come home with like belts.
Dude, you know, I've seen some shit happen. And like my old foreman used to keep, like before I worked with him, he used to have a Hardhat Graveyard on, like, as he would fire people, he would like put a fake post outside the trailer and like people that's like I saw this guy and I don't think you could do this, Tay. Like, I don't think so. One kid was like taking a long time wiring something and the guy said, "What the hell's taking so long?" And he yelled to the foreman, like, "Nobody's ever told me to Mickey Mouse it like this." And we were all in the room and we were like, "Oh shit, dude." He fucking screamed up, like ran up the other side of the ladder, face to face, screaming at the guy. Made him take all your tools. They carpooled. He waited outside the job for like 7 hours for everybody else to finish working for that day. Yeah, like you're fired. See you later. You know, and it's like even like me. So my company, Glenn, that I work for, you know, I had the capability of getting rid of people. I could be like, this kid sucks, get rid of him, you know. And
now, did you mean by like get rid of them, fire them, or just
fire them? See you later.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Sometimes if like they thought maybe you were like, you know, a little tough on the kid, they'd give him to another job site.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, you know, because I mean, I was a lot different as a foreman, you know, let's call it 7 years ago than I am today. I'm a very like, I've come down a lot in my life. Like I was kind of raised by that generation of screamers and yellers and assholes. So like I kind of took that on at first. And, you know, anybody that knows me from my past, I was kind of like a hard ass when but I trained people. Like there's a lot of journeymen around this, you know, that I know. I still use them to this day that, you know, they became good electricians because of it though, you know. So it's like, it's one or the other, right?
Yeah.
We're either... because you got worked and trained so hard, you became good because you were afraid to fuck up. You're like, oh my God, I gotta figure this out. You know, and it's how much do you want to excel too? You know, so I mean, we have a lack of trade kids in this industry right now.
Yeah,
too.
it's kind of like on its low end. I feel like nobody wants to do trades.
Yeah,
nowadays.
I think like it's starting to pick up a little bit, but I mean, as the population grows and more people are retiring, I remember my old company owner, Matt Glenn, that owned Glenn Electric, talked about this 10 years ago. He said, you know, in whatever amount of years, like 50,000 electricians are retiring in Massachusetts. Yeah. And right now we're on the cusp of that with plumbers and electricians and not as many. Like, so, I mean, you can go on Indeed. Everybody's hiring.
Everyone.
RCL is constantly hiring. Like every company's hiring electricians. And like I talked to a company the other day, they actually don't even want to hire anybody from this generation. They need electricians, but they don't want to hire anybody. They want to subcontract out guys like myself, small companies that are actually truly experienced and can get the job done because they feel like we're hiring a generation that doesn't know it. Like, so we had a lot of lack of training. I've seen this too. Like, I've seen people that are 10-year journeymen that just don't have the experience to run or do like work, you know, like
that's wild.
I worked with a kid that, you know, I won't mention any names, but like he could bend his name in conduit, right? In the union. So they're big pipe benders, right? He bend his name in conduit, but his in-laws asked him to put a generator in their house. And he's like, I don't know how to do it. I'm like, hold, you've had a license for 6 years. You've been doing this for 10 years. You're a licensed electrician. Like you took a test, you're licensed, but you can't figure out how to install a generator. That's just stupidity. Like, like I mean, you could go on YouTube and look up like a homeowner could figure it out. Like, you know, it's stuff like that blows my mind when I see.
Do you think
like,
it's laziness or just lack of knowledge?
I think it's laziness and just the way some people are groomed. You know, I've been on jobs. So like, I've been on jobs in the union that were, I don't know, 100 to 200 electricians. like not everybody's getting trained on that job. You know what I
No.
mean? Like if you're an apprentice on a job that's lasting 4 years and you're on a job that big, you're like pretty much getting stock and coffee for 4 years. So until you really get your license is when you start learning. You know? So I've taught for 2 different schools. I taught at the GATC Boston, which is the union school. They didn't really ask me to come back this semester, so I don't know if it's because I'm a non-union company. So my company's non-union.
Yep.
I'm a union member. Well, I paid dues. Still a member at the time right now, but didn't ask me to come back to teach this semester. And I have a feeling there was kind of a conflict of interest. That's why I'm not teaching right now. But there's a bunch of other schools around that I'm probably going to start applying to because I enjoy educating the youth. I really enjoy it. But I think they just don't learn as much, you know. Like it's crazy.
It's different, right? When it's classroom and then actually on field.
Yeah,
It's two
definitely.
different worlds, right?
Whole different.
Because you could be book smart like that, probably that dude, right?
Yeah,
but if you don't have any like in-field like knowledge,
Yep,
you really can't do it. You know what I mean?
I preach this all the time in videos. Like, I made a couple of videos and got a bunch of people upset because like I always say this, right? Just because you have a master's license doesn't make you good. Like, right?
Yeah.
People always like, you'll see the first thing people always say, comment, I'm a master electrician, right? Honestly, that means nothing to me. It means that you followed through with a program, right? You have commitment. You took a 150-hour class. You passed the test. I'm proud of you, right? I could teach a monkey to pass the test, right? And I'm not bagging on people that have taken the test and passed it. Like, because I have guys that are like, I'm a senior project manager. I have 17 electrical license. I'm like, great, cool. I have 3 master's license. 2 of them I had to take tests for, Massachusetts and Rhode Island. New Hampshire, I spent $110 and got a master's license because I have a master's in Massachusetts. And you can do that all around the country.
all the states.
You can bounce between the states and get licensed by just paying money. Some of them you have to take a test. And like we have one code book, right? Each state kind of has different rules, but you have one code book that you're not going to memorize the code, but I've been doing it for 10 years. I know a lot of it off the top of my head when it comes to taking a test. So like when people preach like, oh, master, like a true master electrician is somebody who's been in the trade or plumber for a period of time that's very well-rounded. And, you know, I still need assistance sometimes. I have senior guys that I know that I call for backup.
Yeah.
My old project managers and stuff, they've been in the trade 10 years longer than me. So if I ever get stuck in a jam or I'm like, you know what, I'm kind of curious on that. Or you know, I've grown respect with a couple electrical inspectors. So like I know a couple of them. Like, so if I want to see how they interpret something, you know, so that's one kind of thing too in the past 2.5 years is I've got a lot more inspections done than in the past, so I've had to deal with that one-on-one a lot more, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think Matt put up a video the other day, failed inspection over, like, water heater temperature or something.
That's right, yeah. It was I think it was like 2 degrees over or something.
I think
like
he was saying it's like, you know, when you schedule inspection, it's like being 8, you know what I mean? Like, all nervous and shit, right? Even though you know you did a good job, but the guy's going to show up and maybe he interprets it differently, you know what I mean? So you have that confrontation, but usually it's respectable, though.
It is, yeah.
You talk about it a little bit, like where the big job sites commercially, I'd bring a guy in. He's like, yeah, looks like you guys are building a building here. This is nice, you know? Looks good. Yeah, I see some pipe. I see some wires. You're like, all right, so can we sheetrock? You're like, yeah, okay.
Dude, that's honestly like commercial like inspectors.
Way different.
They're just like, let's go.
Because
like,
the projects are so big, right?
Yeah.
They go through every nuance of it.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple inspectors very thorough. Like, you know, they have their quirks, right? You know, like, you know, don't lie to inspector. Tell them. You're like, listen, I don't know. What do you think about that? You know, like I did a job in Revere recently where electrical code, right? If you have an island, you need an outlet within so many feet. You need every 2 feet, you need like basically an outlet out it or be able to reach it in every 2 feet. And on the end of the island, I just couldn't get an outlet. There was nowhere to put it. Dishwasher was underneath it. Then there was a sink. There was no room in the back, nothing. And I just left it. And the guy came and was like, you need an outlet there. I was like, I was actually waiting on you because what do you want me to do here? Because you can do pop-ups from the counter, but I couldn't pop it down because it was a dishwasher. Like that was what took up the 24 inches. And he looked at it a little bit, was like, all right, I'm fine with it. You know, like stuff like that, you know? So it's cool though. It's good.
It's honestly a great thing to get on the inspector's good side though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, because there'll be times where like, you know, it's me and another guy will like talk to the inspector even before he comes into the building. Like, oh yeah, how's your day going? Hey,
it's called butter them up.
yeah,
right?
bro. And but it works. It really does. It really works, man. It's the best
Hey,
thing
did
in the
I
world.
see you get a new car? Dude?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Sweet talking.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you look great.
Yeah, there was one guy years ago down the Cape that had like a couple hot rods, right? So as soon as he pulled up, like, dude, you paint that thing? You know,
Get them all like
instantly gone. You know,
Yeah.
but it's you know, the business has been phenomenal. I can't complain about that at all. And like the other thing I try to preach to young kids too is like investing and like you know look at your future life, right? What are you planning? What's a long term goal?
Don't ever think about like tomorrow. Well, let me word this correctly before I like have a moment. So don't think so short. Think long term.
Yeah, you definitely. You got to do a long term goal, right? But you also want to live like you know, like you could die tomorrow, but at the same time plan for the It's a hard little like stretch, right? You know, it's weird. I don't know.
So what's the biggest piece of advice you can give to like? All right, we'll do this. Biggest piece of advice for someone that wants to get into the trades, that's young, and like you know that is green. You know what I mean? And then we'll start with that one. And then the next one would be biggest piece of advice that's somebody that wants to start their own business.
I'd say somebody that's young and green that like didn't go to a trade school.
Yep.
That one's a tough one because like people want the trade school kids or people with experience. But what I can say is there's definitely people out there looking for hard workers, right? So I would go to all the surrounding companies, let them know, listen, I don't have any trade school experience. I don't have electrical experience, but I'll work my ass off. Like, I just want to learn. Because personally, like, I've been at like a grocery store, right? Like Market Basket. I shop there weekly, right? I've been in there and I've seen some of these employees, right? And I'm like, man, that like just watching him work and interact with customers, I'm like, this dude would be a great fucking worker, dude. You know, I can just tell by talking to him, or even like you go like I see even like, not to say only girls work at coffee shops, but like coffee shop, right? You go get a coffee and I'm like, dude, the way that like how fast and quick, and you're like you guys are just in the wrong business.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the best apprentices I ever had, actually. I used to always try to find the girl and like make her a good journeyman because that was like, you know, there's a lot of them in the industry now, but there wasn't then. But I would say, you just got to like go around to companies asking. There's a couple trade schools that you can go to, like Porter and Chester, and like, you know, you could go to taking trade school at night, like that help you get into programs.
Yep.
I don't think like, you know, not an actual trade school to get your hours, but they have like, you know, programs, like 18-month programs.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is they're expensive as hell, dude.
They
They're
are.
like $5,000 to $10,000 or something like that, you know? And then you come into like a company, you got to start over basically. Somebody that wants to start a business though, I would say don't try to get everything lined up. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously you need some money to back you, right? Or something, you know. My thing, what I did is I applied and got a big giant credit card, right?
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Strictly to the business, 0 APR for 8 months.
Oh, that's smart.
So, 18 months, excuse me, a year and a half. So I was able to ride everything through that. I rocked out of my Jeep Cherokee for 9 months. I have a little Jeep Cherokee with a 20-foot extension ladder, 6-footers, 8-footers on top of it, packs to the max. Like you got all the RCL guys will tell you. Dude, I roll up, dude.
Things just looking like a lowrider.
Yeah, just one of the smaller ones, dude. And I would roll up like a ninja, dude. Just absolutely destroy. Yeah, just this Jeep rolls up, and all of a sudden fly through the house. Beautiful work. Walk away. See you later. You know? And then I end up getting the van, built it out, and it was like, you know, but I waited. I saved up to it and got it. But you definitely want to be determined, and just like networking is huge.
Yeah.
Network. And I use Instagram more than Facebook, I would say, to network. So a lot of people I do work for now, I literally I kind of followed some real estate pages and a bunch of other pages, plumbing pages, and just started messaging people. Mm-hmm. Hey, you ever need an electrician? Hey, you ever need an electrician? You know, and
going back to that like persistency, you know.
Yeah, constantly persistent. Just so every time they post it, I'd comment, and you know, so like there's a couple good people that like, and there's some people that I did work for. My price is a little bit higher, but they love me. They still want to use me when they can, and I respect that. That's fine because like every job has a different budget, right? Yeah. Like I still have another plumbing, like RCL. You know, they moved on. They got an electrician now. But I have another plumbing mechanical company that's a big one that still uses me for a lot of their like bigger projects when it comes to. But that stuff really helped me out at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But like network, like I said, I dropped off business cards everywhere, and now it's like, you know, it is what it is. Like once your name gets around, it's kind of just takes
A
off.
lot of word of mouth.
I think
yeah.
the biggest fear I see, and I can't really talk much on this, I know somebody else could, would be everybody that I say just go do it. Because I know like probably 4 kids that I think would be phenomenal at running a company.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you can do the electrical work, though, doesn't mean, or plumbing or HVAC, doesn't mean you're a good business owner, right? Either.
Yeah.
2 different ball games.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're very simple. We run I'm old school. I use a fucking notebook and a pen
Hell yeah.
Let's
for
go.
90% of my stuff, but we run everything through Excel. My wife's phenomenal Excel, like tip top, better than QuickBooks. I don't use QuickBooks. I don't use any CRM programs. I don't use anything. So everything's done through Word and Microsoft Excel. And like to the point where when I get my taxes done, the guy's like, I hope you guys get audited because I want to have a good audit. Like, my wife is very, very thorough. I am fortunate with that. Like, it's probably like just truly does not fuck up when it comes to that stuff. Double checks, triple checks, like on track, keeps track of it weekly. So she runs all the books for the company. I have to give her that.
Nice.
I just go I'm just the donkey. You know what I mean? I'm just running around, hee-haw, dude, you know? But it's, but yeah, I mean, so like I know a lot of people that could start businesses. Their biggest fear is the healthcare though. And
Yeah.
you probably hear that too.
Yeah, I do
I
hear
know
that,
Matt hears it. I know everybody that mentions it to a friend is like, oh, healthcare. He's got 4 kids and he has healthcare.
Yep.
It's working out for him.
It is
right?
working out for him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him go broke or shut down because of healthcare, you know? So
If Matt ever stopped doing his stuff, I feel like the world would kind of like end.
it's a sad day.
It would honestly be like, a mourning period, like 2 weeks mourning.
Where did he go?
I would honestly be
If
like, I would be distraught. I would actually be like sad.
That's how he has to go out. He just has to stop. He
Just,
can't-
like, not a
no
trace.
farewell. No,
An
like,
Irish goodbye.
Yeah, just like he was drinking, went to the bathroom, and where'd he go? Dude? You know, like, yeah, I mean, shit. I don't know where I'm gonna go. This might turn into DMC Electric, might turn into DMC Travels in fucking couple of years. You know, next thing you know, you'd be like, "What happened to the electrical content?"
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this guy's on top of mountains and fucking everywhere. You know, so it's depends on where you end up going. You know?
Yeah.
You never know where the journey's gonna take you, right?
No.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So, I guess the biggest, I'm gonna say this real quick because there's a lot of banter. Why is there a lot of banter between plumbers and electricians?
I think
Because I'm not gonna lie, I talk mad shit about electricians.
absolutely.
But at the same time, they dish it right back. That's the good ones.
Well, I mean, today alone, I was making
then-
fun of the plumbers. A company sent me some like zip ties, right? So just like, hey, here's a box of zip ties. They sent me
zip
some
ties?
pink. Send me some pink ones. They sent me plumber zip ties. Yeah, plumbing zip ties. Dude, it was weird.
Oh fuck!
I think I would say thanks, buddy. I would say that the biggest banter is that we both think we're the king of the trades, right?
Well, we all know who the king of the trades
Yeah,
are.
well, because like nothing works without electricity. Like you can plumb all the water heaters you want, but they don't get hot. You know what I mean?
But you can also have a gas one too.
You could have a gas one, right? But like somewhere down that gas pipeline has electric valves in the street or somewhere, like at a power pump station. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, you guys are actually like, very essential.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, I've been putting temp outlets and temp lights on jobs, and I have never got a fucking toilet. You know what I mean? Never got a temp toilet on a job. Actually, COVID, that's a lie. COVID, they did bathrooms. We did get sinks and bathrooms.
Oh, yeah?
COVID. Heated, too. We put heaters in there. That was real nice. One thing I did enjoy about the union is they would build, like, shacks for the porta potties with heaters in them.
Oh,
that's
so it would
nice.
never be
Heated
cold.
porta potties? Like,
Yeah.
are you shitting me, dude? Like, no wonder the guy takes 30 minutes shit because it's heated in there. He's like, yeah, I'm going in here.
I asked that question the other day too. It's like I asked my like a bunch of friends. I'm like, hey, let me ask you something. Would you rather be in a porta john in like the summer, like the hottest day in the summer, or the coldest day in the winter?
I think I'd have to go cold.
Yeah. I a lot of people said cold.
Yeah, it's that's one thing I don't have to use very often lately, which is nice. You know, I definitely don't miss that.
Can't relate.
Yeah, I don't
Can't
miss
relate.
those at all. That was a good thing about hospital work, right? Though was like you had cafeteria, bathrooms, like
Had everything.
that was always
Working
much
at like
appreciated.
apartment complexes or something. Oh, not
Yeah.
apartment complexes. Like assisted living homes. They
Oh,
would
yeah,
have like
yeah.
cafes down there.
Yeah,
bathrooms.
it's always nice, you know.
It's always a good time.
especially in the cold winter. Or like,
Oh yeah.
like
Right now,
I worked
I'm in a heated spot right now, so I'm blessed.
you
super
got to
blessed.
take that. Like I worked out on Nantucket during the winter. Well, that's
That's brutal,
vicious. Brutal, dude. I started the Nantucket Cottage Hospital before I left Glen, and they literally took 3 buildings and relocated them, like old buildings. They wanted to put the hospital here, and they had 3 buildings there, and they didn't want to get rid of the buildings, or they couldn't because of the historical side or something. So they like literally just go chop the building, everything from underneath it, pick it up, and move it to where they wanted it, and then you got to pick up the pieces. Like they cut all the wires and shit, and you're like, I got to put this back together. Like, it was dead of winter, ice cold. And like the tough part about that, I used to fly over to the island, which was cool. That was a deal I made with my company. I was like, if I'm gonna work there, I want to fly. I don't want to take the boat because it like takes
Because
forever.
I'm a rich bitch.
You're gonna fucking fly me. So they end up hiring a pilot and leasing a plane.
No shit.
Yeah, this was I felt like a celebrity.
That's baller right there. That's cool.
They was pretty cool. Well, have you ever flown in one of those planes though? Because
It's little propeller planes, right? Yeah,
tiny
it's sketchy
little
as
crop
fuck.
dressers. So like we did that. We'd fly from Plymouth, Mass.
Okay.
45-minute flight. It was pretty cool. But like you had different pilots too. And if winds are more than 25, you can't fly. But like we had this one pilot that was like, it's like 26. You guys want to go? And we're like, fuck yeah, let's go. Right? But like there was a couple kids that would go up one flight and they're like, yeah, I'll take the boat. I'm all set, you know? Because like
Some people have played.
dude, as soon as you hit that air, it's like what it's Nantucket's like one of the most dangerous waters, like because of the 3 wind currents or something like that. So like I've flown around Nantucket for like an hour and a half in the sky just waiting to land. And like then they have to go back to Hyannis or wherever. They go to P-Town if Hyannis is fogged in because they're running low on fuel now, or you go to New Bedford, like some sketchy shit. I've been in that plane. So when you get up in the air and it's fogged in, it's pure white. You don't see anything, dude. You could be flying right into a building. You wouldn't know till you hit it. Right? Or then like when you come down out of the sky, it's like all white and shit. And like anybody that's been in one of these planes knows exactly what I'm talking about. So it beeps them onto the runway to tell them like where the runway is because they can't see it. It just beep, 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 beep. So like multiple times we've come down and you're like heading into the beach. And then the pilot's just like, back up into the air because the runway is fucking 100 feet over there, dude.
Yeah.
So back up into the air, you go back around, and like sometimes that thing would hit a wind pocket in real bad weather, and it would just drop 150 feet. Dude. The plane just drop. I've been in that thing once from Cape Air because we used to fly Cape Air, where like there was women in the back puking and crying and screaming because you just saw it with other people too, screaming, crying, dude. And like I got so comfortable though, I just got on plane, fall asleep. And I'm like, yeah, we're either gonna land in Nantucket or the ocean. So like my biggest question was like, hey, this thing has like 1 propeller, right? So some of them have 2 and they can run off 1. But I'm like, what happens if we lose our engines? And the guy's like, he said to me once, like honestly, he's like, the plane can coast for 7 miles. I'm like, all right, so you just coast down. I'm like, well, between Hyannis and Nantucket's 30 miles of ocean. So we just coast down to the water. Like, that's what we do. He's like, yeah, that's it. Water landed. I'm like, great. But we never had any issues. And they let me fly the plane once. That was kind of cool.
Really?
So, like, our pilot was also an instructor. So when we left Nantucket, he's like, you want to fly the plane? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to fly the plane, dude. So my apprentice, he always let us fly. We'd be up there like, like the wind would be so strong sometimes, right? You'd be full throttle doing 40 miles an hour. Like in a plane, just like, it was a cool experience. But like, so I think like that's something cool about the trades, right? You get into some pretty cool buildings. You get in like cool environments and stuff. Like, I've worked at Gillette Stadium. Breweries, hospitals, like restaurants, country clubs. I worked at the Marine Biology Center down in I can't think of it right now. Falmouth, Woods Hole.
Woods Hole. Yeah.
Just some like cool environments you probably never really go in life until like that. Facebook building, like just stuff that you're like, this is a kind of cool place to work, So it's always, it takes you some funny places. So like on top of a 40-story building in Boston, you get to see the whole city. like, scary as shit being up there.
100%.
Like, I'm good with heights, but it's a whole different ballgame when you're on top of something like that,
Oh, yeah,
Well, like, I did the temp lights on a tower crane. You going up the crane, those things sway like 2 to 3 feet when you're up there. Like, dude, it's...
Yeah, not me, bro. I don't do heights.
I work with it.
I'll stick to the underground plumbing, you know
You don't
what I
want
mean?
to fly any planes, bro?
Oh, dude, I fucking hate heights.
My brother's like that. My brother, Sean, hates heights. Like, anything over an 8-foot ladder, he's like, yeah, we're going to send
I get sketchy, like, on a 10 and a 12-foot ladder. I'm like,
And I'm like, yeah, set that thing to max. I'll fucking go, dude. Send it. Yeah, that's good shit, dude.
What was I gonna say? Shit, I'm losing. I lost
Yeah,
track.
I'll ramble on, dude.
Yeah, no, we like these. We like these stories, guys.
Yeah.
But biggest piece of it. No.
I like what you're saying about the financial stuff, because I think a lot of the reasons why people work or start a business in the first place is because like they have some goal for themselves at the end of this.
100%. Like mine's early retirement, and it was. I guess I was on that goal before I started a business, and then I realized that I could, really expedite that, move that along quicker. I enjoy the trade though, so like I'm not gonna put it behind me 100%. Definitely not. It's easy industry for me. But like and I could take advantage on other things too. Like I know there's like so many things that like I could teach. I could do like online stuff and teach code like that way, or help young people. And there's way better code teachers out there, not that I'm downgrading myself. There's some guys that have been doing it 20, 30 years in the industry. So like, there's a lot of potential out there. People have asked me to start up a subscription program for teaching it and stuff. Like, I'm just kind of enjoying doing everything for, I guess, free at the moment right now, I feel like you lose it. Like we have enough, like I put up a video yesterday just to kind of get people fired up. But like, there's enough people pushing dumb product out there, dude. Like like 50% of the plumbing, or maybe even 75% of them, like, hey, come check out this website. I use this to keep my company accelerated. And you're like, dude, come on, just put up some like cool content. Show us what you're building.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or they like you put up electrical, and you're like, that's what you did? Like, really? Like, oh my God, dude. All right. I guess if that works for you, dude. Yeah, you are in Tennessee. So yeah, it's funny, dude.
So would you say that Instagram and like social media is a huge help, or like a huge portion of like owning your own business? Just trying to get your like name out there and everything.
I think so. I think there's a couple different, right? So I know guys that are strictly like, they do a little bit on those platforms. But they do like Google lead ad LSAs, I think, lead search ads, something like that.
Yep.
Very successful too. Like, right, you can do those. The more money you put into that, the more your name pops up, I think is how that kind of works. I haven't gone that route yet. I always have something on the back burner. So if I need work, like, there's always a plan working in the back of my head. Like, I'm not going to get slow. And if I do, maybe I'll just enjoy some time off. I've been very lucky, fortunate. For 2.5 years, I've been full throttle.
That's good.
And it's just been getting better and better. So, I took on a children's museum recently. I do these oddball systems too, like BDA systems, fire alarm systems. I got a pizza shop coming up that's a pretty good sized job. The brewery, shit like that. But I think Facebook for me, definitely got the name out there. I probably get offered a job probably once a week from Facebook at least.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's really
at
good.
least
That's
once
solid.
a week. Yeah, and so I get a lot of people.
You're not running any ads, right? It's just like organic
just straight
content?
from my organic. Nope,
Yeah.
I don't pay any advertisement. I
Wow.
don't run any ads. I don't do any Angie's List. I don't do anything. I'm very simple. I'm also
And you manage all that yourself. You don't have anyone else.
yeah,
to
no
help.
social media team. Doug does it all. People that know me, I'm very cheap too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to spend money. Like, so ever since I started investing, right, I learned like every dollar spent is like a dollar that could be earning me money the rest of my life. Like, same real estate or stocks, right? People go two different directions, right? Usually you're full 100% real estate or you're full 100% stocks. They're both going to make you money. The real estate people hate on stock people hate on real estate. It's vice versa, right? I don't care which way you go as long as you're making money. But to me, I'm a stock guy right now, at least. But I'll be in real estate eventually, I'm sure. I do real estate through stocks, but real estate or stocks pay dividends and stuff. So like every dollar you put in produces money for you for the rest of your life. Like if you're smart about it, you're like, and I'm not talking get rich quick schemes and crazy, like, I'm going to be
pyramid,
electrifying.
the pyramid schemes.
Like I'm safe, blue collar, a blue chip, like old school, Warren Buffett style stuff. Like, I want stuff to produce money. To me, a stock's a true passive income. I don't think about it. I put money in, it makes me money. I don't think about it at all. Where like people call real estate passive income. And it is, you're making money, right? But at the end of the day, I don't care if you have a property management team, how much stuff you have lined up. Somebody's going to eventually call you for an answer, right? Like my stocks don't call me. I don't care what they're doing, right? Warren Buffett's big, like, you know, and I'll refer to him because he's one of the best of all time, right? He always says, like, you don't go down and check your farm every single day, do you? You know what I mean? You check it every 6 months or every year. Could lose the whole farm, though. Who knows, right? You know?
Yeah.
But people get so hung up, like, oh, you can lose all your money in the stock market. And listen, if the stock market crashes, the only thing you're going to need is bullets and food. You know what I mean? You're not going to worry about losing your money at that point.
Yeah.
Your real estate's not going to be shit either because it's whatever
the whole economy is based off of
it's
the stock
whatever
market.
you like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can own all the property you want. If the economy's sunk like that, and there's more problems than that. So, but you know, everybody that's in either of those does very successful. And I've only got into this 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe now. I don't even know at this point. But
And do you manage that yourself, or do you have?
I do it all myself.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
you do.
financial education is something we're not taught in schools at all, right?
No.
I try to teach simple things to business owners, even like kids on. Like if you're not using a credit card to pay all your bills that's earning you a percentage, change your way. Stop using your ATM card. Like ATM card is like the stupidest thing you can use because that's the easiest way for somebody to gain access to your bank. And it's the hardest thing to get back. If somebody gets your credit card company fights that. You don't lose anything. And like all my cards are like 2% interest on everything I spend on limited. Like you should be earning money off of your money, off of your money, off of your money. Like we pay enough in taxes and stuff. So it's something that we're not taught in school though. Like we don't teach financial education.
No.
It's something you have to learn. And it's something I didn't learn for like a large portion of my life. I came from like a very unwealthy family, like that were struggled to get by regularly, you know? So to me, like I saw a path that I was like, I'm not living like this. I'm going in this direction. Partnered up with a phenomenal wife, you know what I mean? And she's the same as me. So no, we're not materialistic. I don't need the Louis Vuitton. I don't have a pair of sneakers that patches everything. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just been wearing the same t-shirts for fucking since high school, you know? But, you know, so it's, you know, and I do live life though. Don't get me wrong. Like we do a lot of vacations and enjoy ourselves tremendously.
Hell yeah.
But I just don't go buy the newest car, the newest, latest, greatest thing. And you can achieve wealth just from over time of doing that. Like I don't have kids, but if you had kids, and a lot of these guys I know, like, because, you know, now I'm talking to a lot of these people, you can set your family up for the next generation tremendously. If you just hustle for like 20 years, dude, your kids will be set. What they do with that after you, though, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. That's when you got to instill good values in them to make sure that they keep it and pass it on to their
you got to
children.
set it up in trust and shit so they
Trust,
can't destroy it, you know? So it's, but you know, I used to teach code class, and we'd also talk about finances.
You have to, though.
Dude, I love teaching people shit, you know what I mean?
They go hand in hand, though, honestly, man, because it's like when you don't think about the financial stuff, it's like, dude, that's the bedrock of why we're doing this shit in the first place.
It is,
you know,
it is. And like
obviously you want to be passionate about it, to your point. Like you enjoy the actual work. But if it's like, if you're not making money, if you're not providing for you and your family.
Then why are you doing this? Just go work for somebody at that point, like, you know, and it's, or like when you see people all upset because they're not getting paid from like jobs or something like that. It's like, if you waste your time chasing money, you could be making money instead of chasing it. Like, you know, I heard that from an older timer too. So it's like, but yeah, no,
and it's been a good decision for you transitioning from being like a worker to owning your own business. You said you doubled last year to this year.
Yeah.
And that's all money you can dump into.
My first year in business basically like doubled or tripled what I made working for somebody else. And then last year doubled what I made the year before that. Wow. So like it's been very well, very good. Very well. I was never good at English class.
Yeah. What did we say? More better. We say more better.
Yeah, I was more better.
Yeah.
Much more better.
More better could I?
So you're a master electrician. I almost said master plumber. I didn't want to disrespect you like that.
Jeez, that's my
So you're a master electrician. So that means you can have apprentices in your company, correct?
Yeah, so a journeyman in Massachusetts, as a journeyman, I can have an apprentice.
Oh, okay.
So I think the plumbing is different. I think you can't have an apprentice, right? You have to have a master's license.
I'm gonna butcher the fuck out. I think.
'Cause I think that was a problem.
No,
with Matt.
no,
I think
you
somebody
can't,
was giving
no.
Matt a hard time.
Yep.
Because Nemo. But
Shout out to
so
Mo.
we could, Nemo.
Big Nemo.
I actually used Nemo for a day once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, hey, you think he'll come help me for a day? I need fucking hand, dude. So he's pulling wires with me, helping me.
So Nemo's an electrician.
Yeah, Nemo, he actually made a better electrician than a plumber, just saying. You know what I mean? But yeah, so you can have an apprentice. When you get your master's, you can hire a journeyman.
Oh, okay.
So you can run a one-man shop, you and an apprentice, and do phenomenal for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you can hire a journeyman. You could subcontract in electricians though as yourself, like as a journeyman. But yeah, you can be very successful. But yeah, I did that. I never got my master's though until I started my business. I took the class for it like 10 years ago. And then I finally was like, shit, I need my master's so I can be an S corp because I wanted the tax benefits of an S corp. And then I was like, oh well, Rhode Island's right next door. I was a journeyman down there, so I went and took that test, and that one's a tough one actually. I think they purposely failed me like twice. So I've been teaching for a long time, and I'm not the greatest at the book, but like the second time they gave me the same test 3 times in a row. No shit. And the second time I said to the guy, I said, listen. Or I went back in for one of the times I said to the guy, so listen, I know I passed that test. I said, I know I passed that test. Can I review it? And the guy's like, well, a lot of people pass it on the 3rd time. So yeah, is that how this state works? I was like, so the 3rd time, dude, no question, pass the test. And I'm like, they gave me the same fucking test 3 times in a row. I'm like,
and you failed the first
You're like,
2
I did the
times.
same answers
times, dude.
You did the same answers all 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, the first time, like, there was a couple questionable ones. Like, it's kind of worded a little weird.
Yeah.
But then, like, the second time, I'm like, dude, I got that in the bag, dude. That was it. They gave me the same test. I'm looking at it, like, test C190. I'm like, that was the same one I just took, dude. And then, like, they're like, you failed again. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
No way.
I'm like, no, that's bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've heard that about Rhode Island, though. But whatever, I got it now. It's good. I don't use it very often, but when I need it,
You do a lot of work in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, I mainly are. I try to stay in our area. There's one plumber, that kid Ciardi, that I'll travel to do his boilers. I like working with him. It's fun, Same thing, camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
First time I met him, we had a great time. Like we were like best friends for 20 years.
That's what's important on job sites.
It's huge.
Getting along. If you can't, like, going back to like the cancer shit, if you can't get along with you guys on the job site, dude.
Yeah, you might as well just move.
I might as well just jump off the roof of the job site. Yeah. Oh man.
So are you? What's kind of the next steps for you in the business? Are you looking to like hire people out? Like what's the game plan?
No, we're gonna stay small.
Yeah.
No interest in hiring anybody. People are always like, you should hire an apprentice to teach people, and I'm like, dude, I've taught plenty of apprentices. And I have fun, but no, I'll probably just like keep it small, subcontracting some guys. I'm trying to get like a buddy or two to start a company so we can just kind of partner up, and do bigger projects together instead of actually hiring them. We could go like split the job, and do that way. But I mean,
why do you prefer that? Why do you prefer that route?
I just don't really want the response. Not that it's like a responsibility, but like same reason I have no pets and kids. I can just do what I want when I want. I can leave, take off. I don't have to worry about anybody else. Not responsible. Not like, hey, we have no work. I got to lay you off. Not that I'm worried that would happen. It'd probably benefit me to have an apprentice. I'd definitely be able to train and get like a really good worker or something. Young at a lower pay. But it's I just don't have that long-term goal of building like this empire, a big company. And like some people want that. They want to take over the world, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to build the biggest company in the world and I'm going to take it all over. And it's just not for me.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I use the bathroom real quick.
You're good.
Yeah.
Upstairs, this one doesn't have
upstairs.
Upstairs, yeah. My mom might be up there, so no worries. You should let it rock, dude. We can just chop it up.
Yeah, bro.
Is it going good?
Yeah, hour 20.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, keep this part in the video in here.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, fuck it.
I kind of like that we're starting to talk more about financial stuff. We talked about it with a few people at this point, like Matt Benavides.
Matt Benavides one. I think Mark Mason.
Mark a little bit. Also, what's his face from the I had the cowboy hat on. We were in his.
Bobby.
Bobby, yeah.
Bobby,
I think we got to like
Bobby
touch
Boucher.
on that more, like as maybe as just like a part of conversation. Like we tell people stories, but like I feel like we need to get into the nuts and bolts of just like, hey, like, how do you do this? How did you learn about the financial aspect of it? Where do you invest your money? Like, I know it might be boring to tradespeople, but I think at the same time, it's like it's important. You know
It is
what I mean?
very important.
It's really important. Like, how much do you know about investing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you do? Like your money comes in from your paychecks.
I think I
Does
go. I go to.
does Sabrina just like, you know?
Yeah, she kind of controls everything. Yeah, you know.
Does she know what she's doing? Like,
Nobody really knows what they're doing until they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go to you and I'm like, hey, like,
do you? I feel
like
you-
there's sometimes where like when you talk about finances,
Yeah.
I actually like have to soak that in because you know more about finances than I do.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, let me listen to it for a little bit.
I think like the basic thing I tell every single person is just find a platform. And I'm not talking about friggin' Robinhood or something like that. Go to like a Fidelity or, Vanguard, something like that. Like if you're just looking to get started, right? And you're not like you can jump into real estate, right? Start doing flips, whatever, you can go talk to Mark. He'd probably assist you in 2 seconds. But like if you just want to get something rolling, right? Go start up a basic fund and just start putting like $50 a week into it. You don't have to be knowledgeable. You don't have to pay anybody. You can get a financial advisor for minimum costs. But the problem is the one thing that is just like terrible in this country, right, is everybody has a 401k.
Yep.
You have a 401k, right?
I do.
You have any idea what your money's in?
No, but they do send me a letter of showing.
you get a letter.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of these. Like, so it's like the craziest.
What's crazy is like my wife had a 401k.
Yep.
Until we started learning about it, and I'd say 95% of this country that has a 401k doesn't know where their money goes, what it's doing, how much they're paying, or anything like that. In your money, some people are actually paying more into that financial advisor 401k through fees than they actually earn every month. They're like, why is it still at like such a low? I took over my wife's 401k. I manage it now, probably a year and a half ago. And it's accelerated. And I'm talking like basic. Like you really just put your money in an S&P 500 fund. Like you don't have to get crazy. You don't have to chase every stock like Apple, Google. Because if you go on Facebook, everybody knows, or social media, TikTok, financial advisors everywhere. Don't listen to anything they say.
Yeah.
Keep it really simple. Put like $50 a week into S&P 500 or find I'm big on real estate investment trusts. So I do real estate through the stocks. Something that can just, if you look at the trajectory of like the S&P over the past 110 years, and this is all stuff just from me reading books and learning, 110 years, it's an upward triangle because it's not so much about the money gain in value. There's two things with it, right? You're chasing inflation. Every year our dollar weakens. If your money's in the stock market chases inflation. So you're actually gaining wealth or keeping your money at the same level of what it's worth. Whereas it's in a savings account, you're losing money. That $10 that was in there, or that 10,000 should really be at like 12 now because of inflation. So the stock market chases inflation, which might not make a lot of sense to you right now. Maybe it does. And the other thing is like, you got to forget that you own money. Once you put your money in the stock market, think of it as not monetary anymore, but you own pieces of businesses. You don't have money anymore. You own a piece of a business. You're not going to go check how that business is running every single day. You're going to just see over time, and you want to find a business that's going up in trends. Like, yeah, you could go buy Apple and shit. Guarantee in 10 years you're going to make money, 100%. They're going to come out with a car or the next big, latest, greatest thing. But like a big fund like that is known, like that it's going to just gain 7 to 10% annually every year. It's going to just keep going up. If that thing crashes, like we talked about earlier, there's more problems in the United States. So it's like, just keep it super simple. Like I have a buddy that started it. You got a Fidelity. I told him, listen, you got like 3 kids. Just start putting a little bit every week, $10 even, whatever. I don't give a shit what you do. So it's like I really hammer down on this, just like from reading, learning books, not really so much YouTube, I guess, but just educating myself. Fidelity has a bunch. I do Fidelity. They have a bunch of like educational videos on their stuff, but they always offer me a financial advisor. Like, you shouldn't be doing this, and I'm like, nah, you guys want my money? Fuck out of here, dude. But you have to be able to take the wins with the losses, though. Like the thing that's hard for a lot of people is you get by the mentality of, if you watch the stock market, it's a mental game, right? It's green, red, every single day if you watch any of that. So that's hard for some people. Like if they see the lose value in their money, the business is still that's why I say get rid of like that money value, because you might for a month straight, your money's just going down, or what you put in 10 grand, now you're at like 7, and you're like, fuck, dude. But just set it. It's a long-term goal. It's the same as real estate. It gains value. That's why everybody's buying. It's, all these real estate guys, they just want to own as many properties because they know in 50 years when they pass it on to their kids, it's going to be worth 2, 4, 10 times as much as it was.
Yeah.
So it's but yeah, it's hard, man. We didn't get knowledgeable. Like they didn't even teach you how to write a check in high school, right? Not the people writing checks anymore, but
no, it's all digital now.
Yeah,
Flip
but
card,
it's
tap Venmo.
Yeah, right. It's a whole different aspect.
No need for a check anymore.
No, it's especially us. We can make a lot of money in our industry.
Yeah.
Like, the young kids, it's tough to explain to a young kid that wants to go buy the fucking super diesel King Ranch with fucking 25s on it, and the system. And, I was that kid at one point, dude. I had, a car and I put rims on it and cool lights and stuff. And, it took me a little while to get out of that stage. I think we all were, but now you just like, all right, you settle down a little bit and start enjoying life.
Yeah. And you can have toys and also invest too, you know what
Absolutely,
I mean? Like there's
dude. That's
plenty
the
of people
part. Like,
yeah.
you want, it's you start thinking of like assets and liabilities and stuff. And like a lot of those, like, I always wanted a hot rod, right? And like a nice Camaro 68 or something like that. Like, love that. And like now these days that I can actually go buy that thing, I'm like, well, that thing's gonna sit and just collect dust.
Yeah.
It's not making me any money, dude. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a hard perspective once you learn it to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you like, well, that's cool, but what's it doing for me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have pets just because I want to be able to take off, but what's that dog doing for me? It's costing me money is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I had a rabbit, actually. We had a rabbit for 10 years almost, dude. Like 9, the thing made it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, cool pet, but like, all right, I'm wasting money on it. Like, I buy it food. Doesn't do anything for me. A little bit of joy. Like, what's a dog do? Like, I had dogs my whole life, but what do? They come lick you. They make you fucking take them out in the cold. You got to pick up their shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that, dude. It's the same as
very relatable for me.
Yeah. Same as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I guess everybody thinks of it different. I got 2 nieces. I have a niece and a nephew, and they're like adorable, and I love them to death. But you got to send them home at the end of the day, right?
What is it? Dink? Yeah.
Yeah, dinks, baby.
Dinks.
All the dinks out there.
I'm
Double income, no
kids.
Oh, yeah. I'm learning some
Yeah, bro. Me and my wife, we're dinks.
You're dinks
at the
right
moment.
now?
Yeah. At the moment, yeah.
You got a dog though, right?
But it's not. I guess I'm not a dink.
You just locked the dink title.
Fuck.
It's all because of those kids are like, oh, I'm a great grandmother to a dog.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I love my dog though. So
I enjoy dogs, and like I'm actually allergic to dogs. Like,
are you?
I had dogs my whole life. It was like I became allergic to them, and I like pets. I like them, but like I don't know. I like other stuff more, Like I spend like we go hiking a lot, so I got gear for that and stuff. Like we're safe hikers. We have everything to like properly prepare ourselves so we don't die in the mountains. You know what I mean? Seen enough people die in them. I haven't seen them, but like we read about it all the time. People go out unprepared and shit.
And then they're just like, fucked.
Yeah, we'll go, but me and my wife go long distance. Like we do day trips right now. Well, we'll go up for a week, but we'll do a day trip out and back, and we'll do like a 20, 25 mile trail in a day.
Wow.
So like we, that's one thing. Like I compare like hiking to like life, and like you can't give up, right? If you walk 12 miles out into the woods, you have to come back. Nobody's coming to get you. Nobody's coming to rescue you.
Yeah.
It's like a mental game. Like, so you have to know how far you can push out to push back.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we've been on trails where we've gone out pretty deep, and you get tired, but you're like, we can go another 1.5 miles and hit that next mountain too. And you're like, do we do it? And you're like, fuck it, let's go.
Let's go for it.
It's the worst that happens. So like we'll go out and we'll leave in the dark with headlamps, pitch black, and then come back in pitch black headlamps. So it's pretty intense. You got to carry all your food, your water, and everything, and gear just in case you got to spend the night. Emergency shit. The snow's a little bit more like summertime's not too bad. It's you can live overnight a couple nights. It's the snow, you'll freeze to death and die. No big deal. You just turn it into a popsicle.
Straight casual.
So we carry like emergency shit for that, but we both enjoy it a lot.
Nice. That's awesome, dude. It's good to have hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty much my only hobby.
It's all good.
These days, dude, you know.
You got any last minute plug? I see you with the All Town Fresh Coffee over there.
Yeah,
I don't know if
you know.
that's perfect product placement because
Dude,
there's a
it's
camera
nice.
angle right there.
Yeah, so if anybody knows me, they know I like my coffee, right? So I run on water and coffee. I don't drink anymore.
Yep.
I don't do any drugs. I don't do alcohol. Nothing. I don't do anything clean. I'm like, I think in high school we called me a square. Right? Maybe
that
in
was
the
a term.
70s that was a term.
That was
I
a
don't know.
term back in the day.
So yeah, I run on water, coffee, and like when I did that whole fitness thing, like back in the day, like you know when I lost all the weight. So me and my wife are like non-processed food people. Like I try to eat natural and healthy as possible.
Mm.
So even though I got the gut, we eat like really phenomenal. So like I go to a farm and get raw milk, raw kefir, butter, like everything, you know, like the real deal. I want it straight from the teat, you know. So, but yeah, closing statements, huh? I don't know. Just you know, if you're gonna get into the trades, get out there, just produce good work. Listen to the old timers that want to teach you. And learn from a lot of different people. Like the one thing you'll see a lot in this industry is some guys will teach you something that they were taught from somebody else that's been wrong for 40 years, but they were just too dumb to ever go look it up on their own. So I always taught my class, when somebody teaches you something, don't like disrespect the guy. Like just go look it up for yourself. If you're working with him and that's what he wants you to do it until you become the boss or you get away from him, and then change your ways and like come up with your own style too. Like, you know, there's like 100 different ways to do something in this industry, same as plumbing. 99 of them are the correct way and one's the wrong way. So like just do good work, provide like great service, and talk to people. Like that's my biggest thing. If you're going to get into business for yourself, talk to every single fucking person you see, because my conversations, like I'm a friendly person, have led me to more business than just walking by somebody. When I'm at a location and I see somebody, I'm like, hey, how you doing, dog? Good to meet you, you know. And that's led me to like this place or that place because, oh, you're an electrician. Or like, hey, if you ever need an electrician, let me know. Like I just worked with a refrigeration company. They did a big giant walk-in cooler. And I talked to their guys and, hey, here's a business card. You ever need an electrician? I don't know who you use. And the guy called me like 3 days later. It was like, hey, the electrician we've been using for like 40 years is, you know, unfortunately has cancer. Not going to be around much longer. We're looking to kind of have a relationship. I really liked your work you did at that facility. Can I recommend you to customers? Yeah, absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
So word of mouth, you know, a lot of the plumbers I met are just from seeing me do the boilers. They reached out to me. I reached out to them, like, you know, and stuff like that. Like, I think some people are like this new generation you spoke of, they're like afraid to have a conversation with
They
people,
are.
right? They're afraid.
Introvert?
A face-to-face conversation.
Yeah.
They can text the shit out of you, though.
Yeah, like that interaction is huge. Eye contact, be professional, shake hands. Like that will get you further in life than anything you can do is just talking to somebody, dude. Like, and be friendly, like to all the people at a facility. Like, I don't care if you're not interacting with the wait staff or the guy sweeping the floors, you're dealing with the maintenance department, but be polite because people will remember, like you're wearing a stamp, like people memorize that stuff tremendously, respectful and stuff. And like, I try not to get hot-headed at all. Every once in a while, you got to reel it back in, but like, you know, just be awesome. Just get out there and be the awesomest that you can be, I think.
Oh fucking yeah, dude. Yeah, because like going back to what you said, you can't really be a hothead or like, you know, you can't like crash out at work because we're wearing billboards on ourselves. You know what I mean? It's not like I represent Mark and Rich. Yeah, that's what I do. You know, I represent those guys. You know,
and I was reprening them on jobs. You know, I was there on their behalf.
Yeah.
So
that's like the big key thing is like, you know, always be nice, even though when you think you're about to get a hothead, you know, take a few steps back,
turn around, walk away.
That's it. That's all.
You go from hero to zero in a second.
Oh, 100%. 100
good things get killed by one bad thing. And like I've been taught that my whole career. And it's very, very accurate. Very accurate. Like, you know, there's a local real estate guy recently that had something bad. And the guy's like, I don't know much about the story, but he like phenomenal reputation and shit. One bad thing happened, and now like you know, it looked really bad against them. I don't know where I went from that, but like shit like that, you know. And I remember that years ago with like Glen Electric and stuff. Like, you know, one bad thing, you know, you go from here to zero.
That's it.
Jesus.
So,
All right, yeah.
yeah.
Guys, this is amazing. First episode of the year, we get DMC. We get Doug Connolly in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Two Drip Podcast. I'm Tiago. That's Alex. This is Run DMC. Which, by the way, let me throw a plug real quick. I know you got some merch going on.
Yeah, we're open, baby. We are open till Saturday. The store closed down. RomexRanger.com. Had to go with the name because of just people were like social media.
Yep.
People were like, you're just a Romex Ranger. And then changed to commercial and people were like, what? You can do that too? It's like, listen, this old dog has more than one trick. You know what I mean? I'm not a one trick pony.
Yeah.
But it's but yeah, check out the merch. We're gonna close down the shop. So we ran it for like a little bit over 2 weeks. It was the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Not sure how it did yet, but you know what? If I sold one shirt, I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's what it really
Hell yeah.
does. So.
We'll have to get some merch to rock on the fucking pod, man. Doug, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Later, guys.
Peace.